It is 6:30 on the dot. All right, like I said at the beginning of all these readings, lots of words in here that I'll probably mess up a lot. Forgive me. You'll probably hear me say sorry a lot. It's a big, huge stretch. So let's get started. Hello. Welcome aboard.
Hello, I'm here where I can help.
Sounds good. Part 4 on Goran Gatechki. This section pays homage to Louis Hall's legacy in uplifting the Mohawk people's fighting spirit through his artwork, writings, activism, and everyday behavior. A famous and polemic figure in the Mohawk community, Louis Hall has not received the attention he deserves outside of the Confederacy, despite the fact that his unity flag is today the single most important popular symbol of indigenous resistance in North America. Ganhen Tenathia's text tells the story of Goran Gatechki as an ordinary yet exceptional human, deeply committed to indigenous sovereignty in his everyday life. Tenaitethi's memories are elaborated by second text, which gathers the words of many of his friends through the Iroquois Confederacy and beyond. Here we go. Who was Goran Gatechki? In more words, here we go. The Gunhathatinitha Rotiskarankawake, the artist. Everybody has seen the famous unity flag. Let's put it up.
I mean, technically it is up the whole time I'm in the live, but you mean you want a bigger one?
Yeah. It's always up when you're around. As soon as I can freaking pick the right buttons. I have it in here. There it is. All right. Unity flag. From the Zapatistas in Mexico to the Aboriginals of Australia, from idle, no more through the, oh my gosh, here we go, the LS Pagatog anti-fracking struggle in Sandy Rock. This flag has been used as a universal symbol of Native resistance to colonialism. Few know that it was designed by a man they call Louis Hall, who called himself Goran Gatechki. Quote, he travels on the edge of the sky, end quote. They called him a Mohawk from Great Law of Peace, and he called himself a Gunhahigan. I have known Goran Gatechki most of my life. My father, an iron worker, like many Mohawks, died by falling off the bridge in Vermont. I was left without a father at 13 years old. As a devout longhouse person, my father was insistent that I retain my knowledge and language, and as a family friend, Goran Gatechki was instrumental in helping me fulfill that promise. He encouraged all of us to stand up for our identity. Everything I learned about our culture came from visiting him and the clan mothers. Above everything, Goran Gatechki was known and renowned as a brilliant artist throughout our indigenous communities. He painted several hundred paintings, often marked by the strong sense of humor. He was a self-taught artist and built his own unique Algonquin style that no one could duplicate. For the most part, he tried to paint us as attractive and strong. His work were very detailed and colorful. Without a shop to work in, he used to do his paintings in his kitchen, often using material at hand like wall paint or plywood boards. I became interested in art, watching him paint or make a drawing that he would give away to some. Known for his artwork, Garan Negachi was contacted in 1973 by the American Indigenous Movement, AIM, to make a poster to illustrate their spirit. In this way, he helped connect the American Indigenous Movement with the Mohawk community and the Warrior Society. Apart from his visual art, Garanai Guntekchi was also an accomplished writer. His books included Warrior Handbook, The Rebuilding of the Iroquois Confederacy, are still standard readings for many of our people today. These texts are representative of the revival of indigenous resistance in the 1970s. His teachings were often found in the internationally acclaimed publication Askonasi Notes, as well as the local newspaper
Askanaski
Longhouse News. He would also send many letters to mainstream newspapers criticizing Christian influence and doctrines, advocating that Native Americans must take hold of their own traditions, much like his paintings. Karanae Guntekji always wrote humorously. He saw things through our own lens, and those who were the object of his critiques were dealt with using ridicule, sarcasm, and a great deal of wit. These stories would constantly poke fun at the band council and settler politicians and the church. This treatment, I'm sure, came from a nuance and saving of our own language. He had a small desk that he built himself to put his typewriter on, which I still have in my house. His art and writing weren't only art and literature, they were political expressions, political visions. Karanai Guntekchi used to receive constant visits from the American Indigenous Movement and other Red Power activists to learn about Mohawk resistance, culture, and the Great Law of Peace. They would come visit and stay for a few days or even weeks, camping out in the yard. He would sit with them all and discuss the Great Law of Peace, its history and culture, and they would learn our songs and dances. He would always praise visitors for speaking about their culture and criticize the church for swaying them away from it. Eventually, these families would return home, and at some point, some of us would go visit them. In one case, we went to visit a family in Tobaque, New Brunswick, to discover that they had become completely enamored with traditions. It was Garani Gantechi who helped change that community. His participation in the refoundation of the Mohawk Warrior Society, the Men's Fire Council, was a direct extension of this will to empower community life based on our traditions. I'm going to do this anyways. The Roten Hesken Ringankachi, decide to repossess the land in Geneki. He was immensely supportive of providing guidance. He was always exchanging letters with prisoners, notably from AIM, many of whom he kept a correspondence with for years. He saw a great direction further than just Hanakwe and always supported movements of the people, respecting their rights to choose their own direction. After the Oka crisis in 1990, people used to come to Kananawake to seek him out. Some native people came and camped out at the Longhouse. They were searching for their way and wanted to do ritual and ceremonies. But we are a people of action. We had our festivals and other... What the hell happened? Oh, this is more? Okay, cool, thank you.
This is his art that we were talking about. His AIM art. This is the art that he made for AIM.
Oh, that's cool. The 3 feathers must mean something too. That's cool. I like that. Thank you. Keep sharing it, because they're not telling me what the name of the things are, but I appreciate that. After I read in 1990, people used to come to the seek him out. Some native people came and camped out at the Longhouse. They were searching for their way and wanted to do rituals and ceremonies. But we are people of action. We had our festivals and our ceremonies, but we did not stop at just praying. We always saw that when disaster strikes, we got to get up off the chair and do something. Though Garan Ganachji could not sit on the council because he was not married and had no children, the people appointed him as a spokesperson to carry out their wishes for specific issues. All of his life, he was always ready to receive people and discuss matters with them. Anyone could go to his house for a cup of tea and long discussions about our history and the Great Law of Peace. During the repossession of Genexke, despite him not having a family, he was appointed as a secretary of the Genexke Council Fire because of his wisdom. He envisioned a return to the original Haudenosaunee, which is the Haudenosaunee, right?
Correct.
Sweet. Through our original constitutions, not only in Genexke, but throughout Turtle Island. Oh, here we go. The Anowariki, even when he was old and sick, Ganechki never ceased to paint, to write, to inform the people of their own sovereignty and the great law. Ganechki took freedom and independence seriously. He took treaties at their word, all the while recognizing them as illegal agreements made under threat. He understood that the philosophy of the Great Law of Peace served as a basis for the U.S. Constitution, which had perverted it into a hierarchical system. In the Gurani Gadgetchi's view, we all have an absolute right to the land because our mother created us alongside every natural entity. At the same time, a constitution is the will of a free people. This means that the law of great peace favors nature. It represents creation designed for all living things to live in harmony with the natural world. Our title is based on us holding the land for the future generations. This is a long word. Ta ha ta I gun garan hanso hansantanati. That's a long word. Holy crap. It is them who own all the assets and have all the power. Garan no Ganechke said that Canada runs a business using the resources of the future children of the original people. Canada is concerned with banking, railroads, oil, insurance companies, pipelines, real estates, and so on. with no end to the damage that could be done. Goran Ganetchi said, quote, there is no statute of limitations on mass murder, end quote. He foresaw that future ventures must be based on the law of great peace, where everyone serves nature. In fact, today corporations have to get our prior and informed consent to use the land and resources of our children. Knowing that, how can we sit at the table with these artificially created illegal entities who grape our land? Regarding war and peace, Goran Ganetchi would have said that the government knows that, quote, this country is yours, and they can't take it away from you without your consent if you are at peace. But if you are at war, they can take it by conquest, end quote. His thinking was far more advanced than that of many of our appointed leaders and the self-serving corporate medicine men. There are many who say that they met Goran Ganetchi and that they learned from him, but we find that some did not get his message, being the opposite of the corporate indigenous leaders paid by the colonial state. Goran Ganetchi always took the idea of native sovereignty seriously. That's why he promoted the idea of complete separation from Canada and the United States to form an independent republic based on the law of the great law of peace. But it had to come from the people. Goran Ganetchi didn't consider himself separate from the whole of the community. When he worked at Lafleur's supermarket as a butcher, people would visit him and ask him questions while he waved around his knife. He was comfortable with people. He never hid his views from anyone because he was so dedicated to his work. He lived the life of a pauper. He could live without a lot of things like running water, electricity, and bathroom facilities. And although he appreciated them when he had them, the lack of these things did not bother him at all. Instead of complaining, Goran Ganetchi always insisted that our time should be spent on how we are going to accomplish what we are doing. There is no word for saying I'm sorry in our language. When we excuse ourselves, we say we will make things better. Here we go. Togo. So we traveled and spoke. We acknowledged but did not cry over what the white man did to us. We told them to correct their wrongs, respect our rights as human beings according to creation, to exist as we were designed to by creation, not by denying us our natural way of being. Colonizers have brainwashed themselves by believing that they are godly, that they should be dominion over all creation, that this way we say that are not people of the natural direction. That's why Goran Ganetchi, I'm horrible, sorry everybody, always pointed out that even though our people had the ability to develop into the culture of possession, we chose to develop within a culture of humanity and balance with nature instead. All this came from the great law of peace, the great law. The Ganari Horokgawa is the will of a free and independent people. Our way favors nature. Creation has designed everything to live together in harmony with the natural world. We look at nature to see how we shall conduct ourselves. As my aunt, here we go, Gani Hawaii advised, quote, "If you need answers, sit in the woods, and they will come to your mind," end quote. A man of such intelligence, Louis Hall was never awarded any titles, his words etching and actions speaking for themselves. He was never afraid to be in the midst of the people. His tactics was to recognize and help us see what is real and what is artificial. There are many who call themselves Longhouse elders, quote unquote. But what are they passing to our young people to enhance our natural existence as the people that we are? Are they giving them actual formulas to survive, like our ancestors? He encouraged us to look into ourselves and to take responsibility for our survival. His teacher says, quote, "Pray to the Creator," end quote. But tobacco abuse in ceremonies can lead our people to use prayer instead of getting up and actually doing something. The Garan Nganetji view prayer sidetracks you from taking responsibility. He advises us to go to communities throughout the continent and get involved. He believed in offering kids the opportunity to travel throughout the Confederacy, to learn what new institutions could teach you by experiencing life, by encouraging the people to take back what is theirs by whatever means. Garan Ganechi merely followed what his language told him to do, and he and his politics were one with his language. This philosophy and these principles made the Ogunkanwenwi a great people who lived without settlers for tens of thousands of years. In the end, the Genere Hokagwe aims to maintain peace between all living things. It was maintained this way until Jacqueline Cartier came into the picture. Even there, we always tried hard to maintain peace and a welcoming spirit by keeping the great law of peace open to all nations. All of Garan Kanaji life was dedicated to this task. Oh my gosh, like you could compare him to Mao almost, like being amongst the people, you know what I mean? Not being afraid of people to come and talk and to teach the people the correct ways and the objective realities, and to not rely on completely prayer, but to actually get up and do actions and take responsibility. You know what I mean?
Like Louis Hall.
Huh?
I figured you'd like Louis Hall.
Yeah. He seems really like engaged with, like, as Maoists would call it, mass line with the people. You know what I mean? So yeah. On faith. Before he began writing, Garan Ganechki, which I keep destroying, was a devoted Christian and was even being groomed for the priesthood. Like many of our people, he was deceived by religion, but soon he saw the contradictions of Catholicism. He searched for something real and found the great law of peace, and he committed himself to reintroducing it to all Ngakwananwi and to all people. Garan Ganechki escaped the Christian prison and its imaginary to find his way, imagery, to find his way back to the real world. He totally immersed himself in the great law of peace and started a huge movement of revaluation and resistance. He read a lot about history, both ancient history and what he may call the Jesuit relations, or, quote, how the church attempted to destroy us. He knew, now the Jesuits, were they mostly the people that came over from the, as they call the old world? I've heard that. Okay. He knew as much about Western culture, and he did about the Algonquin Gongwanquinwi. The priests hated and feared him. Of course they did. They could never win an argument with him because he was more learned than them and thought more deeply, using his own mind rather than dogma. He saw that Christianity was a step up to degrade and annihilate our people. It attacked everything about what we were as a people, wanting total control of us. Garan no Ganechi discovered that religion was barely even an illusion. Discovered that religion was barely even an illusion. There was nothing real about it. On the other hand, we had the perfect reality, the natural world, and a part of all living things on our side. He knew that this was because all life had the same original instructions to use our instincts in order to survive. Garan Nanganechi openly defied the church, British and French institutions, indigenous band, and tribal councils, as well as federal indigenous law. He encouraged our people to understand that through creation they had natural rights to breed, eat, access medicines, and all the bounties of nature. Our mother gave us the right to choose, exercise our own mind, preserve ourselves, along with all life, plants, insects, fishes, and all that fight to survive. Nature always prescribes that one had to work at something to benefit from the good things in life. Creation has provided us with everything that we need to survive, but it is up to us to use it. Evil is not based on anything in nature. It is unnatural, destructive to humans, animals, birds, insects, trees, flowers, and plants, land, fish, and waters. Those following the unnatural ways are in a reality of their own minds. People are misled into believing there is a greater afterlife, while great suffering goes on among those living right now. We are supposed to let this happen because God and Jesus are going to reward us in the afterlife. But it is right now on earth that we are concerned about our children and our environment. Teaching evil neglects the responsibilities that creation designs for us. Europeans didn't just steal our land. They brought, here we go, the Garen Hastangarara. I don't know. It's a long one. A man-made reality that you cannot prove, but which all are forced to believe. This is a made-up reality of the mind based on faith, not knowledge. Garan Ganechki could see the difference within the language. Indoctrination numbs their minds. Europeans brought religion. Religion didn't exist for us as a thing separate from other aspects of life. Our way is Shayora. The movement in the same direction as reality, which is in fact the opposite of faith. These Europeans who supposedly represent God said they were heathens, children of the devil. Those who questioned them were seeds of the devil. Karana Ganechi saw the white man's education system as a means of override the natural minds of the people, to confuse us and to make us incapable of reaching into our minds or for our unborn understanding of life. Emptied minds more readily carry out carnage and devastation without a second thought. Language. Louis Hall recognized what our ancestor passed on to us through language. He found all our answers in our language, which contains all our ways in history, past, present, and future. Our language is the expression of our culture and natural way of being. It contains in itself all of our politics. Garan Ninganechki, which I keep messing up, is Louis Hall, always insisted that we bring him to the social. We bring to the social. We bring him to the social at the Longhouse so he could listen to the songs and watch the young people dance. This, he said, was therapeutic. Our language is, thank you. Our language is not just about words. It is the tone, naturally buried deep in our minds. We are born with the tones which form the bond with our Mother Earth, the natural world, and our people. This tone raises pictures that are buried deep in our minds. When the past, present, and future passes before us, we can feel the tones and see the pictures, and then the words come to us. Then Then the mother hums and sings these tones to her baby. The baby learns to describe the picture in his mind using the tones. A picture cannot be changed to something else. What was that picture about?
I have a bunch of different ones. That one was specifically about Oka. That other one, I'll see if it shows up. This one's better. It shows up a little better.
Nice. If you need me to stop so you can explain the pictures, I'm good with that.
This one's called the Statue of Captivity. It has indigenous people in chains and shackles as the Statue of Liberty.
Nice.
And we have this is the one that I will not tell you the name and how to pronounce it because that's the peacemaker. And it's one that they put as the greatest American because they were the ones that came up with the Great Law of Peace. They're literally just making art to like shit on the U.S., saying that the true American is the indigenous person. And then we had other ones, which this one was the one I'm hoping it resized. We'll see if I can get it to resize real quick. Hold on a second.
No worries. I'll go ahead and start reading through the language. Oh wait, you're back. Yeah, what was that one?
This one's about Oka. It's called Danny Takes on the Army. This is actually one of the people you read about earlier, Danny, where he went out and started throwing fists to the Canadian military. That's the one that took out like 12 Canadian military people. We read it earlier where he said he was surrounded and he just started swinging, taking out one after another.
Nice. Based. I mean, poor Canadian. I mean, just kidding.
Danny came with fists.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like I'm saying, they're paper tigers. You know?
All right. Well, you can go ahead and put yourself back on big screen. I was just giving you some of the art that
no worries.
We all made.
Keep doing it. Stay in control of it. Here we go. Through language, Koran Kornatsky inserted his identity. Our identity is equivalent to our way of being, which we call, Kurai Owawi, who we carry ourselves naturally on this earth. We are part of every living thing: trees, sun, water, land, animals, everything. This is the reality of our existence. By encouraging people to learn the truth about themselves, by knowing their Algonquin Ngui Nagai language, Louis Hall brought forth upon the world what would be his main legacy. His struggle was always directed against those who tried to cut us off from these roots. Louis Hall's last will was to spread his knowledge about the Great Law of Peace, to make it available as the knowledge of all of our people. He wrote down everything he knew about the Great Law of Peace. It took us a long time to write it. Genwati Gawawi and Louis Hall were always arguing about the spelling of indigenous words, which had never been a written language. Finally, we got the complete transcription is complete. When we started to film the lectures, which we did in bits and pieces over a year, and which is now available on my website, Mohawk Nation News. Today we have something else, something nobody else ever did. The Ganeri Hoangawa, in our language and in English, in film and books, in book form. After we completed that video, Garani Kanechi moved into an apartment which was built for him on top of my house. He continued to work. He was a stubborn man. He knew he was sick, but he refused to let me take him to the doctor. He led by example. Even in his final days, he never abandoned the struggle. His artwork, his writings, we will never forget what he did for the people. His spirit still inspires us, like other figures from the past. That's why we too will never abandon the struggle, because in the end, the message is more important than the man. Of course it is. That's why we don't great person people. Kind of makes me feel like that, like even when Frantz Fanon was going through leukemia and still did his work, it kind of brings that parallel to him continuing his work even if he was sick.
That's why I told you when you read this book, it's going to give you a lot of parallels to different communist writers.
Yeah, agreed. All right, here we go. Louis Hall remembered. Billy Kayak, South Maryland, Piscataway chief. Louis Hall was an ordinary man who was inspired. His mind gave him greatness. He was the most feared indigenous in the United States, Canada, and South America because of his great mind. His greatest accomplishment was unity. I asked him, quote, "Why did you create the flag?" He said, "All people throughout the world have a flag that unites them. Now we have one, the unity flag. Today, wherever anyone resists against corporations, states, provinces, countries, the flag pops up. It means they are going to resist and not give up." End quote. His flag continues to inspire today. We had the LISN, League of Indigenous Sovereignty Nations, plan that was intended to unite our people. We took it to Leon Shenandoah, the quote official Dodaiho Grand Chief, quote unquote, in Onondaga to help implement it. 90 days later, he had not read it. So we went to see Louis Hall, who said, quote, "I always thought unity would come from the Warrior Society. I never thought it would come from the Piscataway until unity was his lifetime dream." Dana Lee Thompson, Askonasi scholar. Do you know this person? I keep messing up. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'm helping you out.
Askonasi. I keep messing. Do you know this person? Dana Lee Thompson? Huh?
Yes, I do know who that is. Yes, I do know who that is, and you said it right the last time.
Dana Lee Thompson, right?
No, I said I know who that is, but you said Askonasi the right way, the right time.
Yes, Askonasi. Yay! I'm getting it. It's going to take some time. Goran Ganetsky was an educator. We used to listen to him in the cookhouse. He was a historian who made history. He taught us to be proud and fight back. He was ahead of his time. He brought people back to the Great Law of Peace in the 1920s. The Catholic Church got a big stone fence built in Gananawaki to keep us from going to the river to get water. A young Mohawk, Mohawk warrior, I'm guessing, Kanati, refused to accept it. He went home and got some dynamite, returned and blew up that fence to smithereens. The church kicked out the family, even though he had been forced to be a Christian when he was a young Garan Ganechki, always fighting always fought the church. Danny Dorandi.
That's the picture.
Oh, there's a picture?
Yeah, that's the picture of Danny, the one I put up earlier.
Oh, yes. All right, here we go. I'm going to try and say this. I guess this is Danny's name. And Haudenosaunee.
Yes.
Here we go. Nawaki Rotan Haneskin Ragun Ganich. I tried. Louis Hall had lots of stories for us young guys, encouragement which flowed naturally from him. He was creative with his writing, words, art, and speaking, especially when he talked about the great law of peace. He would always give us examples. When he started to make the warrior flag, we would help him with other youth. He made a draft asking us for suggestions, left, and then came back, asked us again what we thought. And we all said, quote, "That's it." We were part of making this warrior flag, and now it's all over the world. It was for everybody. We were all moved in the same direction with the same power and determination. Irvin Godbleaf, former special assistant to Jean Cherind, Canadian Minister of Indigenous Affairs. Louis Hall thought deeply about the people and how the Warrior Society were a great part of it. He always exposed the store-bought Indigenous band councils. Garan Kanechki had his own spirit. He did not fear anybody, which gave spirits to the men. He should remember him. This flag is the symbol of the whole struggle. Other movements had started in the cities. He was here to witness the resistance against the seaway. He was always there where it happened. He trained us to be fit in mind and body and help us create a rallying point, giving us inspiration. He pictured our way of life as based on nature. During the 1990 crisis, he went to a lacrosse rink in Kauai, to talk to the people about our sovereignty and the role of the Warrior Society. He put his thoughts in pictures. The philosophy was made simple. Every day is the last day. I am fortunate that I was with him. I remember seeing a pamphlet he wrote in the Mohawk Nation office explaining our sovereignty and the great law of peace, instructing us to never follow anybody else's law. He encouraged us to bring these principles to every negotiation with anybody. We need people like him to continue. Here we go. Ganethio Horn. Nawagan, actress. I used to feel so special when Louis Hall would close one eye and point his finger like a gun at me and my cousin when we would be running around playing or sitting quietly listening to him speaking. I was 8 years old when Louis passed away at my house. I remember being told when I got home from school and feeling like I lost my grandfather. I cried and cried. He was a wise man figure. He was a wise old man figure in my young life. I knew he was an amazing artist. I knew he made the unity flag. I knew of all of those great things he created and wrote. it wasn't until I was older that I understood how powerful his knowledge, passion, and love for his people was, and that anyone that knew him and spent time with him was fortunate and carried with them a piece of him. When I was in my early 20s, I moved into the apartment he passed away in, and I lived there for 10 years. I still talk out loud to him, sometimes because, in a way, I feel like his spirit is permeated the walls of my mother's house. I think of him often. There are reminders of him everywhere. I turn. His art, the flag, his teachings. I have always felt that it was my duty to make him proud, to be part of the future, the envisioning of for our people. June Simmons, the Garang Cohen, the Ganun Kineskingun elder. I'm trying. Many years ago, when I was about 22 years old, Glenna Schilling Mactosh took me to see Louis Hall. He told us many stories about Mohawks. For instance, how the warriors climbed the cliffs at Quebec City during the Wolf and Montcalm battle. The one it's for the British. And won it for the British, sorry. I was totally engrossed with all his stories. He told me about the Jesuits too. None of this stuff was in history books. Looking back, I realized one of his missions in life was to educate the young, especially young Mohawks. I am forever grateful to Louis for telling me and others the real history that the education system refused up until this day. I shall never forget Louis Hall. And here we go, next person. Garan Winiwana Wetha Wanyink Horn Miller Nawaki water polo Olympic champion. Louis Hall was thinking and writing at an offensive strategy for our survival, where we were going as a people. We want our children to think for themselves. There was a place for everyone who was willing to work for the people. The Longhouse. In the 1990 crisis, our sovereignty made us look at Louis Hall and his knowledge based on the great law of peace. He said we are the final stages of colonization. Our young people want to belong to the greatness of the great peace. We can contribute throughout the world. We don't want ways designed by outsiders. He trained thinkers. As an athlete, I have always had to use thinking to develop an offensive strategy and a good defense. He lit that fire. Look at what is possible beyond the Indigenous Act and colonization, to be forward-looking with an eye on the past. Now we have defined the narrative. We had no fear. We go out and do stuff, knowing what is possible. In this game, we cannot just wait and try to keep up. His writings, art, and fearlessness made us understand sovereignty and nationhood our way. He helped us build strategies based on what was organically good for our people. We feel it. We know it. We fight for the freedom to face fears and wrongs, the right to survive. Louis Hall wanted us to live offensively. Ellen Gabriel. Louis Hall was a visionary. Leiko Salam. I have realized that his manifesto was carried out by the true warriors and peoples during the 1990 siege of Gunhestiatiki and Ganankanawaki. He was referenced referenced on many occasions during 1990 and afterwards. His words convey the frustration of indigenations and of multiple generations who suffered under oppressive Canadian colonial laws that threatened their land, identity, and survival. Reclaiming land is the most precious part of his vision for our survival. He knew that an offensive position was the only way. His words ring true even today, as we witness so many other Algonquin we peoples continue the centuries-old resistance to assimilation, to dust ourselves off and listen once again to the words of Louis Hall, and to demand with louder and stronger voices land back and restoration for our beautiful democracy, so that we will live in peace and always remain vigilant in the protection of our land, living with respect on Mother Earth. These are people doing kind of like eulogies in like their experiences of Louis Hall. Here we go. Gonwenwa Liz Mortor on Gon Nawakingwan activists. We were Louis Hall's neighbors. I knew him in the 1960s. He was a good farmer of the land, a great artist, spoke the old language. We traded farm lots with him. He spoke to the people and was always ready to back up what we said. I went with my mother to visit him often. When they were talking, I would go into the back room and stare at his great oil paintings. In high school, he helped me with a story on our history about the Patriots, quote unquote. He said that Americans were heading towards us from Chattanooga to attack us. Our people were in the old church. A woman was out tending the cattle and saw the army hiding in the bushes. She ran into the village and into the church and screamed for them to get out because they were going to be attacked. She saved them. My teacher was appalled and did not accept my paper because it was based on oral history, which did not count. Go figure. Mark Miracle. Nindingan Warrior Society and Iron Worker. I am honored to have known Louis Hall. He was and remains one of my great teachers who taught me of our proud traditional history. His spirit is always with us through his writings and the great work of his art he left us. He is honored and greatly respected throughout Turtle Island and through and around the world. In July 1989, he came to Asquanassy. When
you almost said it right. You almost said it right. It's the first part you're messing up, and you almost said it right when you tried to correct yourself.
Asquanassy.
There you go.
Asquanassy. Then hundreds
and then
of
add T to the end of it. Asquanassy.
Asquanassy. Asquanassy.
There you go. Last one was right.
Asquanassy. When hundreds of New York State troopers invaded our land, and he was also present in 1990 when, oh my gosh, here we go. The Gunanhanestiki, the Gundanakwi, and the Asquanaski were invaded. He is always there to give us insight and to help us understand the great law of peace, way of dealing with this hardship. Mike Thompson, Ganekwingan, Mohawk Warrior Society. I am a warrior of the great peace, the great law of peace. Goran Nagatsky taught me responsibility towards our people, standing up no matter what, even if you stand alone. Before I went back to the Longhouse, I spent a lot of times with him and John Boveas. I began to follow the routes that led to the Tree of Peace. I was passionate about being and being a warrior, a Mohawk warrior. To this day, I try to live the work and work on the path that was shown to me. Listen to him was powerful. I even became a war chief. The Warrior Society would meet in the cookhouse next to the Longhouse. Nas Hemlock, Mitch Deere, Cookie McCobber, Stephen Stacy, and the others. We talked about responsibility and picking the fight. Our agenda was the people. Garan no Ganachki laughed. Quote, it's not going to be easy. Dealing with the foreign government is a very important duty, end quote. We all stepped forward and walked down the road. We risked our lives. It was a rewarding journey. The legacy was carrying the peace, developing the warriors, endurance, seeing it through, and finding out that what it meant to be Mohawk. I'm gonna just do it. Ro ten Hanskin Ringansti. I can't do it. Louis Hall's message was that we would fall and get back up. He warned, quote, watch out. You will always be under the watchful eye of the foreign government. He said that our duty were greater than ourselves. He made us warriors for a lifetime. All right, another person. Here we go. I don't know how to say this. Justin Horn, Askonowski, and
You should have went last time.
and Go Hanawaki physician. Louis Hall was always in and out of my family's life. His colorful and unique art was all over our home. It was in university taking extra courses in history and native issues. I was fortunate to be able to visit him regularly and listen to his stories and incredible. I can't say this word. I have to look this word up. Sorry. Out of all the words, right? Recitation. Sorry, everybody. Recitation of our history. My mother, my grandmother, Frances, and Louis Hall were an incredible trio, and I find that even today, phrases and memories of them flashing through my mind. I remember the anti-receptor grief I felt when I saw him dance for the last time in the Longhouse. I think him often, and I am pleased to see him live in our collective minds. Here we go again. Another person, Alan Delorandi, Tingan or Rithtin, Gon Hanawakanwi, Roten Hanakan Rotanganti. I can't do this. Early on, Louis Hall worked with Elder Pete Domi to deeply understand the great law of peace. He tried to teach it to the young people. He was a great writer, explaining our true history, the great peace, which made a great difference all over. Today, many people are fighting for their rights because of him. Many don't give him credit for what he did. We understood because of what he saw, heard, and touched in natural things. He did not look up to the sky and ask someone to do his work for him. He proved that the church was bad by making fun of it. He liked telling stories and made them amazing and humorous. His writings and paintings showed that his ideas were successful. He helped reclaim our land at Ganetskena. He provided lots of information on our rights during the 1990 Oka crisis. He knew this was a national political issue on domestics. He knew our way is based on the Great Law of Peace, and he said, quote, don't learn from the top down. Learn about life, food, everything natural from the bottom up. Without insects, we would not survive. They are the first step in the chain of life, end quote. And another person, oh my gosh, this is long. Tao Wan Sanati, Thomas Deere, Gon Nawakawi, graphic artist and historical and cultural liaison for the Gananakanaki, the Angwankanani, the Rotetanangangwa Language and Cultural Center. Jesus. The single biggest contributions that Louis Hall gave to his people was a vision of what we can become. Through this writing and artwork, Louis Hall idealized the Gananahanashoni Awanwi society could be if we all embraced our traditional teachings, push fear aside, and put it in the work of making that dream come true. Louis Hall was a true visionary and made people search for knowledge, myself included. The Oka crisis led me to the Longhouse, but it's Louis Hall's teaching that kept me there. I consider myself a student of Louis Hall. And many of my life choices are heavily influenced by his own life. His writings inspire me to be a writer like him. His artwork encouraged me to use my art as a teaching tool. In a lot of ways, I feel compelled to continue where he left off and help make his vision come true. These are just like testimonies so far. Lance Del Laselli, artist and musician. Tangan Honowasia, Nawangi. Probably, oh my gosh, this is so hard. It is Louis Hall's Warrior Manifesto that the way that it honors our people to the most. Affects me the most. I realized that our responsibilities were going to be. He was always concerned about those who are coming by dedicating myself to the resurgence of our identity. His ideas were an eye-opener, which caused me to stop drinking. He encouraged me to continue my art and music. He explained the principles around the design of the flag. He said that the sun rays touch the earth is where we have to be to protect our people. One night he came into the Warrior's office where I was working as a dispatcher. He sat down and we talked about how people are motivated through art. He asked me what the story was behind my drawings and what I was writing. He advised, quote, always think about your message, end quote. His art is really striking, vibrant, showing us as healthily and strong people and strong people. Many people around the great the I can't do this. Sorry, have printed his have prints of his art hanging in his houses. He inspired me as a writer and a musician, and above all, he was genuinely funny guy. Let me look ahead real quick. I want to see something. 144. Okay. 144. All right. Watio. Wat Ganwan Hanawara. Splicer. Gani Gun. Artist and Roten Han Ganes Ratenchi. I remember when I was a kid seeing Louis Hall in the Longhouse and knowing that old timer created all those paintings with his own distinct style. He definitely influenced me as an artist. Also, knowing that he had a Christian background, but working so hard at going back to our own ways was really inspiring. He influenced a lot of our people, encouraged us to think of ourselves. What he helped to create is our own stake in Ganesh Gangin, and that is where I am not, trying my best to carry on what he had started. Here we go again. When Den Gangawi, Elijah, Gan Nangwaking language teacher. I was always amazed on how Louis Hall always kept painting in the middle of whatever he was doing. After he passed, his family gave me one of his paint brushes. I thought, quote, holy smokes, how did they know I was into art, end quote. Maybe it was meant to be. His main influence is that he put pride and a sense of empowerment back into us after the residential schools and other ills and pains we suffered. You can see that strongly in his art and the strength he portrayed in the women and men. I wish his art could be shown to everybody. As a youngster, I did not understand the politics, but I knew he was very important in our community. I pursued art to get at our history and culture and to feel proud. I will never forget how his art helped me realize my strength. I always remember Louis' gym with the bench and the weights. He said, quote, "You're never too old to exercise," end quote. I went into sports and kept fit. At his apartment next to the Longhouse, people came from all over to visit him and to hear talks about the Great Law of Peace. All right. All right, we're going to go through some pictures now. Because there's some pictures. We saw the unity flag. All right, here we go. There's this picture. And it says right here what it says. All right. And then we got this picture. The indigenous flag designed for all indigenous nations. Single feather means all of one mind. Now here's a word. Dengan.
I'm not going to say it.
You can't say it. Dengan Gananweda wanted all indigenous to be under the Great Law of Peace, equality for all indigenous nations. Next one. It's this.
Self-portrait.
That's how Louis Hall looked? Oh, nice.
I can bring up a picture of Louis Hall. It's actually not very far off.
There's more Louis Hall, I bet, right?
I can't remember if that's Louis Hall doing it about themselves or if it was someone.
Yeah.
It's self-portrait. Yep.
And then there's that one that you already showed me.
Yep.
And then there's this one. Love the muscle tones and everything. It's pretty cool. All right. And then we got this.
That's a specific person. I know who that is, but I can't say the name.
Yeah, it's probably, yeah. And then we got this. All right. Is that Haudenosaunee?
Yes.
All right. And then we got this. Just give some time for people to read if they want to. All right. And then we got this one, which you showed too.
Yep.
And then this. Looks like a crown.
Yeah. It's not really crown. That's so you know how each nation has their own headdress. That's
Yes.
a representation of how our headdresses look.
Okay. And then, oh, more. Look at this. We want you for the wars.
I told you. Remember what Louis Hall said? We use their propaganda against them.
Look at that. We want you for the warriors. It's fucking funny. I love it. And this is the bear wolf. Let me move this a little bit more down. Is this the wolf clan, turtle clan, bear clan?
Yes.
And in the middle is like just the representing of all the people, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Nice. And then we got that. These are good pictures. Unions of. Wait. It goes the other way, doesn't it? Yeah, unions of. Wait, no.
Union of an Indigenous Warrior Society.
Oh, look at that. The hammer has a hammer. And what is that? That's a club, right?
It's a war club.
Yeah.
So he did that on purpose. It is supposed to represent the symbol that you think, but instead he put war club because he said it's time for war.
Nice. It is time for war. It is. That's weird. That's a wait. The sleeping lion.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like indigenous people being the sleeping lion or something?
Yes. We're the sleeping lion waiting to be risen up to actually start the war.
And there's the picture that we're utilizing this book. All right, is that it? I think. Oh, no. We got more. I like that. I like that picture. It's like peaceful. Ooh. Okay, what's the significance of carrying the stone?
You know what? I'll actually
Endurance.
go through it. But it's about endurance.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Ooh.
Some of you might have to scroll quick past.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that looks almost like a Catholic thing. You know how they do the what are those?
Yeah, it was actually supposed to be it's an art piece that's supposed to like smack in the face of religion.
Yeah. The sacred dances. Nice. And this was the holder of the heaven. Ooh. Toro ne Wangon. Wangon. Huh. Oh my gosh, what is he doing there? Taking the church. Okay, that's a church. Okay, I got it.
Destroying the church.
Got it. Okay, got it. And more. My most Luciferian majesty, Satan the devil. Oh my gosh. Long live hell. That's amazing. Oh, this is okay. I know what that
This
is.
is lacrosse.
Yeah. Was invented by indigenous people, by the way.
Specifically by the Haudenosaunee, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's the sport we played.
Yeah. Sundance. Okay. Oh my God, is that the Empire State Building?
Yes, because if you didn't know, the indigenous people actually created the Empire State Building and the Twin Towers too. So the reason for this is that if you ever heard of the Skywalkers, that was the Haudenosaunee specifically that were doing that. We would actually climb up there and do the ironwork. This is why they said that indigenous people would fall from bridges and other things. It's because they wouldn't give harnesses to people that would go up that high. And we did it willingly because we were not afraid of unalivement.
That makes sense. Oh my God, just one split off. I wish it wasn't split off. See? That's bad. I wish that wasn't split off. This is Mohawks on the Nile, 1848, 1884. Huh.
He's doing a reverse history with that one.
Okay. What is this?
It looked like Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls. Okay. I just saw that. Ah. It's beautiful. Ooh. Mohawk. A Mohawk turtle clan mother. Nice. Oh, man. Ooh. Head shrunk to less than half size. A master head shrinker of America better than the psychiatrist. What? Have a remedy for baldness. It won't grow any hair, but it will reduce your head till it's just right for the amount of hair you got left. What the fuck? That's a joke, right? I'm taking it, right?
Yes, it's a joke.
Okay.
It's joking about how we did head shrinking.
Yeah. The Indigenous Act. Huh. That must be a Canadian scene right there, I'm guessing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It says border crossing, 1927 U.S. court ruling. Oh. Jeez. And there's AIM. Oh, that's the one you showed us, AIM.
Yeah, that's the same one.
Now I notice the upside down flags. I didn't notice that before you showed it.
Yeah, he did that on purpose. Remember what the upside down flags mean?
Yeah. It means stress, distressed.
Yep.
Yeah. Progress, 1965, holy and doctrinal.
Think of a historical picture of George Washington with the people in the canoe. That's what he based that off of.
Oh.
So what he's doing is purposely, remember how he said psychological warfare? He does this on purpose. He paints historical themes where like colonizers were like, oh, look at this proud moment. So he'll paint one with indigenous people to kind of like throw it in their face.
Joe's fighting with someone in the comments. Funny. Ooh, Big Sister is watching you. Nice.
He told you.
Big Brother's watching you instead of Big Sister's watching you. These are must be. Is this a traditional like marriage?
So the one on the one side is the person I cannot say, but the other one is the mother herself. That's the one that we call Sky Woman.
Okay, so these are part of the creators. Okay, got it.
No. The one is Sky Woman, who, if I ever told you the Sky Woman story, yes. The other one is the person's name. So they're two different people from two different eras. It's honoring two different significant people throughout our culture. Sky Woman is on one side. On the other side is what we'll call the Peacemaker for the purposes of this. They're two different things. One is Sky Woman, which is the story of how we believe that the world is created. The other one was an actual person, but they're significant to our people, so they're painted together.
Not quite like a prophet, but kind of.
Kind of, I guess, in a way.
In a sense, but bringing reality instead of idealism. You know.
Correct.
Beautiful painting here. Oh, what is this? This is a map. Wait, is this the territories?
Yes.
So you're up in here, right? In this territory? Wait, up in here. Okay.
No, look where New York is and then go from there.
New York's up. Wait, New York's down here, right? I can't tell without the fucking borders. Look at my
name that I keep trying to correct you on. It's on there.
I can't see it too well. Hold on. Yeah, it's going to be too blurry to see. Is that Louis?
Yes, there you go. There's a picture of Louis.
Now we have a full picture. What a handsome guy. Person.
And that's all the art that he has behind him, too, that he did.
Nice. And then who's this?
I'll tell you, just below it.
It will. Crystal Courier. Okay, it's holding the 2 rows of wampum. Oh, that's a wampum belt.
Yes, that's the 2-row wampum that they continue to reference. That's the treaty between the United States and the Haudenosaunee that says they have to deal with our nation to cause, like, they can't put us in jail. They can't do anything outside of our nation. They can't charge us unless they talk to our people.
Okay. All right. And this must be another incident. This is a picture. This is removed by Conrail police. Bridge blockade, December 18th.
Yep. 1968, the Ashkenazi.
The Ashkenazi. And there you go. There's the unity flag and Junior Jacobs, Eric McCobber. I don't know who the other person is. Oh, that's the name right there. That's a name, right?
Yeah, that's the name.
Okay. All right, and who is this? This is Marie van Nitz, founder of the Netherlands Association of North American Indigenous. Oh, is this in a different country, huh?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Who's that? Alec McLeod? Huh. Don't know who that is. Just more pictures of these people. I know you wanted me to do this, and I don't care if it takes up time. Defend, support, and intense disdain. I'm not a good reader. Oh, this is
yes,
the warriors.
There's a woman's warrior flag. Yes,
of course there has to be. Just like Mao says, women hold up half the sky. It's got to be. Women are the leaders, the true leaders. And there we go, part 5. let me get this done. Let me do the thing here real quick. Comment setting. Where's the comment setting? No, that doesn't work. Hold up. I can't figure this out. I have to turn off the comments. Where do I do that? I can't turn off the comments. Could someone turn off the comments for me? Someone? Hello? Where do I go? Thought it was in settings. Comment setting. There we go. I must find it again. I did. I think. No, I didn't. No, not that. Oh, comments are back on. Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. We got 5. We got like less than. Let's see where I'm at. But those are beautiful pictures and everything. I love that. Let's see here. No, stop. All right. We can stop right here because it's going to be the. Do you say the G's with the G? Like Sego? Or is it just the K's that are G's? Sounding.
What's the word you're looking for?
GANEIENKEH.
It's said how it's spelled.
Okay, Ganechki Manifesto. Interesting. All right. It basically land of the flint, huh? So that's what we'll do next time. I'm going to do this next. We will start there. So we're ending on page 194. 194. That's where we'll end. But it's nice to know that how influential Louis was in helping their people to gain their sovereignty back and gain their things that have been stripped away from them. I would assume him being part of the residential scenario probably drove him to the intentions of like, we need this back, you know?
Yeah,
Also, if you didn't catch on, Louis Hall was never about great manning himself. Other people may do it, but they were very clear that Louis Hall was never about that.
Yeah. I would agree. But it's still the impressions and what he has done for the community has helped perpetuate further the wanting to decolonize from the United States, at least that much, you know?
The worst part about this is most indigenous people don't even recognize, because they all fly that warrior flag for their warrior society, and a lot of them don't realize that flag was specifically created for the Mohawk Warrior Society originally, and then turned into the unity flag for Louis Hall's main purpose. But like, a lot of people don't realize that the whole purpose originally was because of the Mohawk Warrior Society and what Louis Hall wanted to make as a unity flag, because he wanted more warrior societies. Most of them just think that, they don't even know that Louis Hall made it. Like, they just think our people had made this a long time ago. They don't know the history behind it.
Maybe that should be something that's important, so that way you can, because you got to know the origins to understand like the presence in the future. You know what I mean? So
right. It just really stinks sometimes, because I'll get a lot of people that'll be like, if I fly that flag, they'll be like, I know this is for our people. Why are you flying it? And I'm like, you do realize this is Louis Hall's unity flag, right? This was meant for all indigenous people. It did originally start with the Mohawk Society, but it's not strictly ours.
Yeah. But like, let me see here. I want to see something real quick. We're on. Let's make sure we ended at 194. 194. I just want to look ahead real quick.
But you also see a forming of why I also say that you have to fight the religion as well as fight the capitalist state, because not only was Louis Hall fighting the capitalist state, but they're also fighting that the religion also goes hand in hand with that capitalist state. So if you don't get rid of one without the other, you're just literally going to have that same issue again.
Like they utilize religion, especially in colonial efforts, to get more inwards, and to penetrate further into the hinterlands and stuff like that. They utilize that, and they keep that maintained and stuff like that to, because the people that are coming over are already Christians, because of in their own country. So they're just trying. Yeah. It's a huge way of genocidal cultural imperialism, as Walter Rodney would call it too. Yeah.
But that's also Louis Hall wrote a lot about this in other writings, that literally, if you don't get rid of both, then you leave one behind, it will just fuel it to the other one to come back. So like, let's say we get rid of capitalism, but we don't get like pushed to understanding that allowing like Christian, like, what is the word? What's the one for like politics? Christian, what's the one where they like conservative Christian things?
Evangelicals?
No. The Christians that get into politics. Like in capitalism, so like they have the two-party system, but you also have on one end you have Christian whatever, Christian nationalists or whatever. Like the minute you allow Christianity to continue without critiquing it, you instantly are allowing them to just be like, okay, well our book says this, and we can do this because our book says it, and then it leads into them just bringing back capitalism again.
Yeah, especially with the origins of what versions of the Bible they utilize, especially towards Black and Indigenous people, and the justification that slave owners have a right to own slaves and shit, and the justification for their enslavements. Yeah.
Correct. Because they could just cherry pick certain verses and be like, this one says I can own slaves, so since my Bible says it, now it can be a thing. And then we're back in the same boat and starting with getting right back into capitalism again.
Yeah, I can see that. Or like in a slave situation, slave society and stuff. Yeah. So, but anyways, well, are you guys taking another break today, or are you guys going to do something tonight?
we're gonna go live. I gotta see if Chicky's up. I'm gonna have to call Chicky and see if I can get them up. I'll do most of the talking, and other panelists will do most of the talking. Chicky's not really in the mood for talking a lot, so Chicky's just gonna host live and then go from there.
Yeah, because I've heard about what happened with the one person, and that was horrible. So it sucks to be betrayed by friends, you know.
Yeah, I agree.